Email millions. Get that fucking trash out of your life. You have legacies to build. We grew that business from 3.4 million to 17.1. Horsepower, not horse shit. You want to be the parent that's an ally. They don't need another fucking friend. Not everybody's cup of whiskey. Toughest advice for the toughest businessmen. Be relentless. When I first started in the insurance business, I worked a year for my father, and then I had the opportunity to purchase the agency, which I did after working there for about a year and a half. And it was a really big deal. It was a opportunity that was actually financed over 10 years. I was going to buy my father's agency over a decade. I would pay $30,000 per month to my dad. I was paying off the real estate, the building. I would own the business. I would own the client list, and I would own the physical building. And at $30,000 a month, it would take me 10 years to pay off and own the entire agency. So at the time, $30,000 a month was an awful lot of money to pay. The reason we agreed to the deal, and I didn't get any special treatment. I have a younger brother and an older sister, so there were no special deals. I paid the industry average. I paid what the building was worth, and I paid, I believe, 4% interest on the loan or the money. So there were no deals in the McLean household. When I bought McLean Insurance, I did it the old school way, 1 month at a time. I remember looking at the financials and my dad and I discussing, man, you can do this. You can maybe do this, but it's like going to be very, 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 very tight for a long time. And, we looked at the financials over my dad had been running the company for the last, 35 years. And morning, Tim. And we looked at the financial books and we said, well, this you'll be able to make these payments of $30,000 a month if you live very simple. I'll never forget those words. It sounded okay at the time. I just got to live a simple life for the next decade. So I was coming from the hockey business where I lived a pretty unsimple life. I had a nice car. I had a nice apartment. I had cash flow all the time because I had money flowing into the team from games. We had games every week, so lots of cash flow. So I was like, okay, I have to live simple for the next decade. And it was interesting. I moved to this tiny 1-bedroom apartment. It was the smallest place a person could ever live. It reminded me of my university dorm room, where literally there was only a bed and a desk, almost like doing time. So I lived in this little apartment, and in it I had my books. I didn't even have a kitchen table. I had my couch, I had my bed, and I had my reading chair. But it was cheap rent. It was pretty cheap, so I that was good. I leased a car, a vehicle, and started living simply. I toned down my entire life. I toned down my expenses. I toned down all of it. And everything I did, I put into paying off that 30 grand a month. But admittedly, it haunted me. Like, I had a pressure on me like worse than any mortgage payment, worse than any credit card debt. Debt is evil. Like, I understand you need to go into debt to make money, and some gurus say, debt is great. But for me, debt was making a hard pillow. Like, I owed $2 million plus But most importantly, the $30,000 was hanging over my head. Every month as we'd get to the second part of the month, the 20th day, the 25th day, I would start to suffer from extreme levels of stress and anxiety. I would talk to my financial person in the office and say, you know, Susan, how are we doing? And she's like, well, we'll write that check on the first day of the month. Let's hope it clears. And we've all been there where it's like, you know, we write checks that our ass can't cash. And I never wrote a check a bad check or anything like that. But just the stress that came with it, the pressure that came with that $30,000 a month it was almost unmanageable. Like I was aging, and everything was about, you know, how can we cut? How can we save? How can we spend less? And you know, then it didn't leave very much money in the early years for marketing. Like I wanted to start mailing, you know, thousands of flyers. Good morning. We were doing 500 a week to start, 1,000 a month, 2,000 a month. Well, that was nothing. I wanted to do tens of thousands. I wanted to test television advertising. I wanted to test radio advertising. I wanted to test social media. I wanted to do it all, and I didn't have the cash to do any of it. So I was doing a little bit of marketing to start, but man, oh man, all the money, all of my cash was going into this $30,000 nut every single month. So I sat down one night and I was sitting there thinking about, you know, I'm a question asker. I ask my subconscious, I ask my conscience all the time. I'm always asking questions. Tony Robbins taught me one time. He said to me, he said, Michael, he said, the quality of your life is the quality of the questions you'll ask yourself. And good morning. I never, ever forgot him saying that to me. I was at his mastery event in Hawaii when he told me that. And he said, the quality of your life will be the quality of the questions you ask yourself. So whenever I'm in deep or dark times, or I feel like my back is against the wall, or I'm really stumped or in a rut or whatever it is, any kind of challenge, I've always asked myself hard questions and listened for answers. So I consistently was asking myself, how can I make money fast? How can I make cash fast? Like, how can I make money and make it fast? And by the way, I didn't have any more time. Like, I was working 10 hours a day, 12 hours a day. I was walking, I was writing, I was reading. I didn't have any more time for any more projects. I just didn't. So how could I make money fast in a short period of time? You know, how could I make maximum money in minimum time? So one day I was up in my apartment and I was sitting there in my reading chair, you know, going through some books and enjoying a cup of coffee, and boom, it came to me. It came to me. And it was something that I could do that wouldn't take more than 15 minutes a day. It was something that I could do first thing in the morning during my marketing time, during my Operation Money Suck time. And it was something that, if it worked, it would bring me consistent cash flow. I'd be able to pay the 30 grand a month. It would take the pressure off of me personally. It would help me free up money to do more marketing and advertising. It would make my life a lot simpler, and it would grant me peace of mind. So that thing changed the entire direction of my business and my life. And that thing was the eighth wonder of the world. Email. Read my lips. Email. Electronic mail. I didn't know anything specifically about it other than we used it in business all the time. But I was thinking about it, and I read an article about it in the marketing about these guys that would send a daily email or a weekly email to their list of prospects, their list of clients. And every time they would press send, every time they would send an email, prospects, clients, cash would flow into their business. It didn't matter what type of business it was. It didn't matter if it was an insurance agency, a restaurant, a clothing store, a jewelry store, a car wash business, butcher shop, a gym or fitness center. It didn't matter what type of business. These guys were building lists of emails of prospects and clients, and then they would send, weekly emails, a couple emails a week. And every time they did that, it would generate activity in their business, generate, quotes, interest in products. It would sell. It would sell. The eighth wonder of the world would sell. And all of a sudden, they'd have this newfound cash flow. If they wanted cash, they'd send an email. If they wanted, if they needed a financial boost for free, nearly free, they would, of course, send an email. And I was fascinated by this almost, I termed it slacker's marketing weapon. It wasn't like I got to take all day and all week and write a postcard, or it took me a month to create a flyer. It takes me 16 hours, 25 hours sometimes to write my monthly newsletter. Those telegrams take, hours to complete. Everything in marketing and sales takes time. And if you're like me, I didn't have any time. I was working my ass off in the business, and I didn't have any more time. So this slacker's marketing weapon of email, I had to test. I had to make it work. So what I did is I said, okay, I can do this for next to nothing. By the way, email isn't free. Email, you have to pay for the software that hosts it. So we used all kinds of different, over the years, we used, Google, we used MailChimp, we used iContact. It didn't matter. Now we use Berserker Mail, which is completely detached from big technology. So email isn't completely free. It's your time, and you have to invest in your software program, which is very inexpensive. But it's easily the least expensive marketing thing you can ever do. So I had to test this and find out. So we bought a software program, I think it was iContact. And I got my receptionist to do this. I said, listen, here's our new software program, take a look at it. And our phone was starting to ring because I was sending out flyers. So we went from getting almost no phone calls to getting, several phone calls a day. We could have up to 75 phone calls a day from prospects and clients. So I said, okay, the first thing I want to do is I want to capture the email of every client. So when I bought the business, the clients we had, what did we have? We had between 3,000, we had about 3,200 clients, 3,200 clients. So I said, I went into our software program, our management system, and we didn't have anybody's email. Good morning. We didn't have anybody's fax number. We didn't have anybody's birthday. We didn't have anything that I needed to market to these people, existing clients. So I had a team meeting. There was only 4 of us. And I said, listen, from this point forward, the receptionist and the service team and the sales team, I was the sales team. I said, from this point forward, number one job is we capture the name and email of every single person that comes in contact with our agency. Every single person. I don't care if they're a salesperson who walks through the door. I don't care if they're a new person wanting a quote on their home and car. I don't care if it's somebody from the Rotary Club. I don't care if it's a person who cleans our office. I don't care if it's an existing client. Everybody that phones, everybody that walks through the front door, I want their email. I want their first name and their email. I want to build an email list. So we started that day at ground zero. We didn't have one email. We didn't have one fax number. That's another story. We didn't have anybody's birthday. We didn't have even complete addresses for some people. But man, oh man, we started at ground zero. So the phone would ring and I gave Anne a script. And part of the script is before she would transfer the call, it could be a prospect, could be a client, she would ask for their email. And, you know, most people would say, okay, she'd put their name down, she'd write the email down. And then I helped by making sure that it was something that she wanted, good morning, to do. I would pay her $1 per email. So she was into it. Right at the end of the day, she's like, Michael, here's 63 emails. Michael, I've got 43 emails. Michael, I got 21 emails this morning. And they just made it this thing where it was just like, well, you know, like it was something. And every day we would put in another handful of emails. And then the weeks went by and a few months went by, and all of a sudden, you know, we had a little bit of a list. We had a few hundred people, then a few thousand people. So what I did the very first week, I didn't wait for our list to be big. When there was 140 people on my list, in other words, we collected emails for 1 week. And all of the emails together, we had like 140 emails. And they were in this new software program. And I said, okay, that's it. From now on, for cash flow, I'm going to send 1 email per week to my list. 1. And that's my job. I need to sit down during Operation Money Suck in the morning and write 1 email. I'm going to send it on a Tuesday morning, and I'm going to build a relationship. I'm never going to talk about insurance. Nobody wants to talk about insurance. Nobody wants to talk about car washes or Chinese food or pizza or whatever, you know, clothes or any of that stuff. They want to talk about themselves. They want to talk about things that are interesting and relevant. So for me, it was going to be all about personality. So here I am, I got 140 emails in my eye contact. I sit down up in my apartment and I write my first email. I remember like it was yesterday. I was so stressed. I wasn't going to be able to make my payment in February. December, January, and February, $30,000. Next to impossible. Next to impossible. I'm like, where the hell are we going to come up with the cash to do that? And the pressure, the real pressure on me was from my siblings, who my sister was like, if you miss a payment, there's going to be a problem. So I had that extra pressure on too. Like I want it to go 10 years in a row without ever being late, without ever being short. So it was a pride thing for me as well. So I write this first email and I'll never forget it. It was something really simple. It was what I call my soft enter the conversation in their mind. So I forget if it was Happy Easter. It might have been Easter. It might have been in April. I think it was, whatever it was a soft email. A soft email is like a Happy Thanksgiving, Merry Christmas, Happy Easter, Happy St. Patrick's Day. It's something that's already in people's minds, and I call it a soft opening. You're entering the conversation in their mind because it's on everybody's mind, right? It's Christmas time, it's Thanksgiving, it's Easter, it's Super Bowl. Good morning. It's all of these things. So it's an easy one. And I didn't want to be selling insurance. So I sat down and it literally took me 15 minutes. And I wrote this simple email and I put a subject line, curiosity. Maybe it said Happy Easter. And then I personalized it, Dear Janet, Dear Michael, and then Michael McLean here, introducing myself for the first time. And then why? I just wanted to send this short note, I don't call it an email, to wish you and your family a happy Easter. And then then I put, take care, Michael, like first name basis. So very, very soft. It's just like, guys, wishing them a happy Easter or a happy Thanksgiving. And then in the PS, I put the $1 million line. I put the $1 million line, which I always did, which it was just, I still use it to this day. And it's literally brought me in tens of millions of dollars, literally. It's a PS line that's bought me a home on the lake. It's a PS line that's bought me a home in Naples. It's a PS line that helped me buy McLean Insurance. So there was no selling in the emails except for the soft PS, where I just asked them if there's something else, if there's anybody, if I can be of service to them or anybody else they know, give me a call or email me. So when I sent out these 140 emails to my tiny, tiny list, I was laughed at. My staff were laughing behind my back. My dad was laughing. My brothers and sisters, they just thought I was a fool. Everybody was just laughing at me, this email. Who emails in the insurance business? So I send out the email on a Tuesday at 10:30 in the morning. And the funniest thing happened. We had about 10 people unsubscribe, which I didn't know at the time if that's good or if that's bad. 10 people replied and unsubscribed. Please unsubscribe. They didn't want to hear from me. They didn't want to hear from an insurance guy. That's cool. I'm cleaning my list. I found out later that that's the goal. The goal is to get that 1% to 2% every email unsubscribe. You want to trim the fat. You want to get rid of the people on your list that are never, ever going to spend money with you. They kill your list because they don't open your emails. They kill your deliverability. So that was a win, and I didn't know that it was a win. Secondly, I got... I was shocked. I was like, wow, 70% of people didn't even open this incredible email, this Michelangelo piece that I wrote. I was like, I took it personally. I was like, my goodness, 7 out of 10 people doesn't everybody open my emails? And so that was an eye-opener and a learning experience for me. But here was the thing I didn't really see coming. Is all of a sudden my email box filled up. And when I say filled up, I'm talking about 6, 7 people replied. And most of them replied asking a question about buying more insurance or buying insurance. So a lot of people said, I got actually dozens of replies back that said, same to you. I wish them a happy Easter. Same to you. So that was pretty normal. That was goodwill. That was great that people were replying. You're engaging them, and they're same to you. Thanks for the email, Michael. So I'm actually building a relationship with that very first email. So that was very good. But the big thing was I got these 6 or 7 replies that said things like, Michael, I was wanting to call you about my house. I was wanting to call you about my jet ski. I was wanting to call you about umbrella insurance. And literally, I just entered the conversation in their head. I showed up in their email box, and it turned into quote opportunities. So I was the salesman in there at the time, right? So I was like, whoa, 5 leads, 6 leads, 7 leads. And I just took these leads, I replied to them instantly, right? I'm creating a conversation and a relationship. I'm like, I appreciate the opportunity. I'll be back to you within 48 hours with your quote. And they're like, great. And that's one of my sales pro tips, right? If you're going to be back to somebody in 24 hours, say 48, that's the greatest concept going, where you under promise and over deliver. Under promise and over deliver. And I would get back to these people within 4 hours, and I would say 48 hours, and they'd be so wowed, right? When I sell my book to members on this video list, I say, okay, the book will arrive 10 to 14 days. It's going to take 2 weeks to get the physical book to you. And I know the book is going to arrive in 7. So it's like, boom, the person's like, whoa, I wasn't expecting this book for 2 weeks. And boom, it's here in 7 days. That starts a relationship off with a wow. That's a Disney wow instead of a, oh, where's my book? It's lost. I haven't got it. It's been a month. I forgot about even having it. So always, always, always under promise, over deliver. So that's what I did with my emails. I was like, I'll be back to you in 48 hours. And I'd get back to them within 2, 3, 4 hours with the quote. And then I'd quote it all, right? I wouldn't just quote the jet ski. I'd be like, who's your home with? Who's your car with? Where are your teenage drivers? Do you have any other RVs or any of that stuff? And all of a sudden, I would close about 30% of those quotes. 30%. But the other 70% were still on my email list. And I remember writing these policies for $2,000 and $3,000, and then I would write the total account for $10,000, $12,000. I'd write the house and car and everything. And I wrote with that first email one account that was almost 20 grand. 20 grand, so we got 20% commission. So it was like $2,000 to the bottom line with a fucking email. And I'm just sitting there going, man, I spend thousands of dollars on postcards, on flyers, on newsletters, and I got to put in tens if not hundreds of hours designing them, copywriting them, putting a stamp on them, taking them to the mailbox. And it is great. It's the best. Direct mail is the best. But the time, I needed fast cash. I was going to go broke. I was going to not be able to pay my 30 grand. My life changed that day. Those mailbox millions, that 8th wonder of the world, changed my life. It friggin' changed my life. And all of a sudden, Susan, my financial officer, was like, well, Michael, we'll take that. That's a nice $5,000 win. We'll take that. That's a nice $4,000 win. And it was pure found money, pure profit to the bottom line from a list of 140 prospects. So what do I do the next week? I'm like, okay, I got to write another email. I sit down, it takes me 10 minutes. I write another email. I use the same sales upsell PS, and I write about, something I did. Maybe I went to the football game. Maybe I went to the hockey game, and on and on and on. For the next 17 years, I never, ever did not send an email every single week. 52 weeks, 52 emails from an insurance agent. So 52 emails a week or a year. Never in 17 years did I ever speak a word about insurance. Never, ever did I send an email, a boring email about umbrella insurance or saving money. Nobody wants to read that bullshit. What I would send is ticket giveaways. I used to give professional sports ticket giveaways once I got going. I would give NHL tickets, NBA tickets, I started giving concert tickets away. I'd have access to these tickets through, I was a season ticket holder with the local pro sports team. So I'd buy a couple of Alan Jackson tickets. I would buy a couple of Pink tickets. I would buy a couple of Kenny Chesney tickets. I would buy a 5-pack of movie tickets. I would buy a Super Bowl pizza package for a family. I would, everything and anything from t-shirts to hats, but mostly tickets and entertainment. And I also used email to promote my referral program. Every month I would give away an iPad to my referrer of the month. Well, I would shoot a short little video or take a photo, and I would send it out to my list and congratulate this person. I would shine a spotlight on this person who won the iPad. And then at the end of the year for my referral program, I'd give away a television, big flat screen TV, which is a big deal, 18, 19 years ago. And once again, I'd take a picture, email it to my list. So I actually probably sent more than 52 emails a year. But it became so seamless and natural because, if it wasn't Christmas, it was Super Bowl. If it wasn't Super Bowl, it was Halloween. If it wasn't Halloween, it was whatever. And I just started building a relationship with this list of 140 people. The next week after my first email, the list was at 210. And then, then it was at 240. And every week we built that list. And every week I would write a simple plain text email. I never put anything special or anything. I never complicated the process at all. I never complicated the process. I just would write a personal email as if I was having a sandwich and a beer across the table. I never made it sound like some stuffy corporation. I never made it, good morning. I never made it sound like it was from some business. It was just Michael McLean. I was in the Michael McLean business, so I would send a personal email every single week. And I'll never forget when gradually our email list was every call, every contact, every person I would quote, we would take their emails and dump them in there. 17 years later, when I sold the business in 2017, I handed an email list of 63,000 people to the company that bought it. 63,000 emails, not junk. These are people, we had their first name, we had their primary email. So I was emailing 63,000 people a week. And by then it was ticket giveaways, it was whatever, and the PS in the email was the upsell. So I had 3 full-time sales guys at the time, and I would send that out every Tuesday morning, and then I would literally print off 17 quotes, 21 quotes, 33 quotes. I would print them off at home, and I would drive over to the agency, and I would give each of the 3 guys 10 quotes to work on that day. I'd say, okay, these 30 quotes came in. Here's 10 for you. Here's 10 leads for you. Here's 10 leads for you. And then I would make them get back to me, show me that they quoted everything, and go from there. And again, we were closing anywhere from 30 to 70% of these leads. Man, it just was the most incredible feeling to be able to sit down and write a simple plain text email, 2 or 3 lines, press send, and literally bring cash flow into my business. I never looked back. I never, what email did and direct mail for my business? I was able to walk into my dad's office after a couple of years of sending an email a week and say, Dad, I want to increase that to $35,000 a month. I want to increase my payment to $35,000. He was like, what? I said, debt is evil. I want to get this off my plate. I'm paying interest on this, so can I pay it off sooner? He said, absolutely. So I ended up paying off McLean Insurance in 7.5 years instead of 10. When I would get a big bonus check from one of my companies, you know, 40,000, 130,000. I got one once for $250,000. I'd walk into my dad's office, I'd grin and bear it. I'd take a photocopy of it and put it up on my wall in my home or my apartment, and to remember it, and I'd sign it over to my dad. I'd go put that down on the debt. Put that 40 grand, put that 110 grand, put that 250,000 on the debt. And consequently, grinning and bearing it like that, not heading out and buying a car or a jet ski or a Rolex watch or going on a vacation, I reduced my debt load by 2.5 years. Instead of 10 years, I did it in 7.5. And I have to thank email, and I have to thank physical direct mail. Those were my two weapons of mass production. So if you're struggling with cash flow, if you're struggling with stress and anxiety due to, you know, lack of consistent money flowing into your business, and you don't have a lot of money to invest in, you know, mailing 1,000 things or mailing, you know, 2,000 newsletters or all these other things that are important. What I'm doing is I'm going to be starting up for the first time. I've never done this in my career. I've never ever taught my email strategies and tactics. To this day, I write an email every single day. In the hockey business, I wrote an email. I built the hockey team with emails and mail. I built the barber shop recently with emails and mail. And today, I'm building the Michael McLean company, the videos you're watching, my consulting company. What do I do every day? I send you an email and I shoot a video every day, 365. So I walk my talk. I do a ton of physical mail, but the bottom line is the foundation is this, what I call Slacker's 10-minute routine every day. It takes me 5 to 10 minutes to write you a simple plain text email with the video embedded. That's it. This video takes, you know, an hour. The email, you don't have to do any videos. I wouldn't do any videos. I never did any videos in the insurance business. But I'm going to start up in May a tiny mastermind. And it's going to be for entrepreneurs and businessmen, coaches, consultants, retail people, insurance agents, professional services, anything like dentistry, chiropractic, anybody like that. Anybody that needs cash flow, daily cash flow. And I'm going to do a mastermind. It's going to be every month, once a month for 90 minutes, where I'm going to sit down and teach you over an hour, 90 minutes, once a month, how to write and create your own weekly emails. You don't have to be sending an email every day. You don't have to shoot videos. It's not necessary. It doesn't make any difference. And I'm going to provide the guys in this group with an email every week that you just plug and play. You can change it, you change your name, you maybe add a little personality to it, but it's going to be the email that I would send, the email that I would use. So without much money invested, you're actually going to hit the ground doing this in May. So all of a sudden, in May, you're going to start building your email list. If you don't have an email list, that's like me. I started with 0 people in every business I was in. I started with 0 people in the insurance business. My first email was sent to 140 people. In the barbershop business, we started at ground zero. We started capturing emails. I started sending to dozens of people, then hundreds of people, then thousands. Same thing in the hockey business. I didn't have any emails. I didn't have a list. I built it. And then, of course, I started this business with a handful of emails a couple years ago. And now we have thousands and thousands and thousands of people on my daily email list. So you start at zero. I'll show you how. I'll show you the software, the only software to use. It's very inexpensive. It's separate from big tech. You're not gonna get shut down. You're not gonna be told what to say. You can speak freely. And every week, 4 weeks in a month, 52 emails a year, I will send you a template that I wrote that week so that it's congruent. And I will show you the email that if I'm sending or if you're sending that you can use in your own business. It's really that simple. So who is this mastermind for? It's for entrepreneurs who are sick and tired, like I was, of that fucking dread and anxiety of not being able to meet payroll, not being able to scale because you don't have cash flow. How are you going to scale your marketing? How are you going to send newsletters? How are you going to send flyers? How are you going to send postcards? How are you going to do how are you going to scale on YouTube when you don't have cash flow? I couldn't do any of it. I didn't have cash flow. Email gave me cash flow. Email gave me cash flow. I was broke. It gave me cash flow to do other things. Then I was able to scale the hell out of my companies with mail, with TV, with radio, because I would take the profits from email, and I would scale it into other things like newsletters, like flyers, like postcards, like television, like radio. So that's the secret, is to get those quick wins, to get those weekly wins, quick wins. So that's who it's for. And what is it? It's a tiny mastermind. I don't know how many guys will be in there. I would imagine most of my champion will be in there, my world builders. I would imagine most of my newsletter brothers will be in there. And, you know, you need a mastermind, another mastermind, like a hole in the head. But this one's only going to be once a month. So if you have 1 hour a month, I'm going to teach you how to add thousands, if not tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands to your bottom line. But you got to have 1 hour a month. You need to have an hour to 90 minutes to attend the training once a month. And I record them. So if you can't be on the training, you just watch it on your own. Watch it later on. It's only going to be 60 to 90 minutes once a month. So if you have 90 minutes a month, you got to have 90 minutes a month or it's not for you. Every week, my assistant, Leanne, or my marketing director, Mark Andre, will post and send you privately the email for the week. And it's an email that any entrepreneur can take, whether you're a therapist, whether you're a butcher, whether you're a candlestick maker, whether you're own a golf club, chiropractor, dentist, car wash, flooring company, insurance agent, coach, consultant, real estate investor, whatever it is, your business is not different. Get that losing out of your mind. Email works for every business, every prospect, especially the affluent market. And you'll take this email and literally in 10 minutes, it's for slackers. It's almost done for you. You take this email that I wrote personally and you tweak it and you press send. You send it out every Tuesday as an example, or you send it out every Wednesday as an example. So I will write 52 emails a year that the mastermind, the tribe can use. And yes, this email works exclusively for your business, whatever your business is. You just take it, you add your name, maybe add something personal to it, keep it simple. You don't have to change very much. Press send. 10 minutes, press send. And your list is going to be super tiny. You're going to start off like I did with, you know, when I joked the other day, but it's not much of a joke. When I started this consulting company 2 years ago, selling my book, my first email video went to Mark Andre and I. And Mark Andre unsubscribed. That's sort of a joke. but I had a list of like 5. And then I had a list of 10, then a list of 25, then a list of 100. And now my list here 2 years later is thousands and thousands of entrepreneurs, elite men. So you don't need a list. We're gonna build a list. I'm gonna teach you how to build a list. I'm gonna teach you the software to buy. I'm gonna teach you the time to send them. I'm gonna teach you what to do, how to clean your list, get rid of the non-buyers. I'm gonna teach you how to write your own emails if you want to, but I'll provide an email every week for you to use. I'm gonna teach you how to get your emails delivered so that they don't end up in a spam box or a promotional folder. I'm gonna teach you the fonts to use, the size of fonts. I'm gonna teach you how to write subject lines, even though I'll provide a weekly subject line for you. And that's it. I'm gonna cover it all over the year. So it's a 12-month mini mastermind, 90 minutes of training, recorded and live. I'll set up a little locker room forum where you can ask questions, where you can fax me, you can email me, you can do any of those things. And it's recorded. You can watch it. Good morning again. And that's what you'll do. And every month I'll do a different training on something. So it's 52 emails a year for 52 weeks. Plus I'm gonna teach you everything that I'm doing with email, why I'm doing it. So you need to have 10 minutes a day. You need to have 10 minutes a day or don't bother. It's gonna take you 10 minutes a day to tweak 10 minutes a week to tweak the email and send it. You're going to have to buy the software program, which is super cheap. There's a free trial with it, for God's sakes. You're going to have to attend a training for 60 to 90 minutes a month. And you're going to have your business able to deal with all kinds of leads coming into it when you send the email. I'm not joking about that part. Like, I had to scramble. When I started sending my emails, after about 3 months, I was like, holy shit, what am I gonna do? I got 60 leads. I got 60 people that want quotes on their home insurance, car insurance. And we would literally scramble. Like, my sales guys would be like, oh, Michael's sending his email. It's Tuesday morning, let's get ahead. And when I was sending emails of my last year to 63,000 people, you have no idea. I would send an email about Kenny Chesney tickets, and I would get over 10,000 replies. Think about that, and they'd come to me, 10,000 email replies, and I would have my marketing director go through every reply, that's 1,000 replies, to make sure that they were all replies for the tickets. Because in those replies are people who say, I need to get a quote on my RV. I need a quote, Michael, on my, so you just can't. So if you get 6 leads, you got to be able to service those 6 leads. If you get 4 leads the first week, you got to make sure that you can read every reply and that you can give the service that you're saying you can. And then once it gets really big on you and your list gets to 100 and gets to 500 and it gets to 1,000 and out there, then once you have the cash flow coming in each time, you can take some of the money and invest in a marketing director or an assistant part-time who can go through all the replies every week, like mine did, and filter out the people that are just replying with good wishes, people that want to unsubscribe, people that want quotes or want to buy your product, and put those in the places that they should go. That's really, really important. So make sure that you have that time commitment to do that. It's gonna be basically, I always say to people, I'm like, man, make sure you're ready to handle incoming sales and opportunities. Really important. So good morning. And And that's what we had to do. But gradually you can just take your time and you can just scale it gradually. So I had no idea what to charge for this. I love masterminds. I love coaching my champions. I love coaching my world builders. So for this, it's a monthly. I was thinking, you know, maybe $300 a month, maybe $500 a month. Because when you think about it, if you get, let's say you get 2 customers a week, 2 clients a week, 2 patients a week. I mean, what you're investing in this is next to nothing. And it's going to get better and better. Like my dad said, the best is yet to come. If you only get 1 prospect the first email, well, a year from now, you're going to be getting, you know, dozens of prospects every time you mail. And you might want to email more than once a week. I do it daily because I'm a machine. I just, that's my thing. So, it's unlimited how much stress this can take off you, how much peace of mind this can give you. But I'm not going to charge $500 or $300 because I want guys that need help with their cash flow to be able to do this. I know I don't want just the rich to get richer, because they will. My champions and my world builders, of course, the rich will get richer. These guys will take this mastermind. They'll start mailing their lists once a week, twice a week, and they'll do incredibly well. But I want this to be affordable to the bootstrap entrepreneur, the 1 or 2 person who can't afford to send out physical newsletters yet, who can't afford to send out flyers and postcards yet, who can't afford to, you know, buy traffic on YouTube yet. So that's what the thinking is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it 2 ways. If you are, I'm not going to charge the 500, but I'm going to charge $197 a month. That's for 4 emails and that's for the training. So $197 a month, and we're going to start in May. If you are a champion mastermind member or a world building member, or if you're a newsletter subscriber, if you're one of my brothers. So if you're a mastermind guy or you're a newsletter guy, instead of the $200, I'll do $97 a month. So less than $100, $97 a month for 4 emails that I write for you to the group, and an hour of training. And if you're like me, I find email fascinating. I just love the game. And if you think email is going anywhere, you're nuts. Email is making a comeback. It's making a comeback. Social media and things like that are fucking garbage. But man, oh man, email, you can, you do a personality, marketing. Email is powerful, so powerful. And yes, email is, Goofy thinks email is dead. Goofy thinks faxing is dead. Goofy thinks mail is dead. So let Goofy continue to think that, and you worry about results. Email is getting better by the day. So this is something you can do for the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years and build up an asset. Can you imagine owning an email list of 2,000 people or 5,000 people that you could, whenever you want to, write an email and press send, and it buys you a swimming pool? Like the great Paul McCartney said with the Beatles, I just write me a swimming pool. He meant, he writes a song, they buy him his fans buy him a swimming pool. You imagine having a list of 10,000 or 20,000 people in a couple of years on your email list, and you and your wife want to go on a vacation, or you want to hire a new executive, or you want to do more marketing, or you want to travel Europe, or you want to do a renovation in your kitchen, and you sit down and you write an email or a couple of emails, create a product, and press send, and tens of thousands of found money come into your account. That's how easy it is. That's how easy it is. I press send. I want to move to Naples, I press send. I want to buy a new SUV, I press send. I want to put my kid in private school, I press send. I want to buy a hockey team, I press send. Everything and anything. The ability to sit down for 10 minutes and you have a list of buyers. These are buyers. These are not bootlickers. These are not takers. These are not cheapskates and bargain hunters. On your email list, you create a list of buyers, hot prospects and leads. You press send and money flows into your life. Or if you're like me, you get a big tax bill, it's like press send. Or something happens in your life, you need help, you go through an unfortunate divorce or a separation or an injury. Sit down, write, send. And send the bill to your list. Send the invoice to your list. So, if you're interested, I'll keep this open for 1 week. This is the first time I've ever mentioned it, first time I've ever done it. It'll be $147 for civilians, outsiders. So if you're not a newsletter subscriber and you're not a Mastermind member, it's $147 a month. I'll drop that down. $147 a month. That's chump change. That's one or two sales. That's one or two sales a month, and you're sending 4 emails. And if you're one of my tribe, if you're in my mastermind, or if you're one of my tribe members with my newsletter, $97 a month. Think about that. That's what? 5 car washes? What is that? Is that part of an insurance policy? Is that like half a therapy session? Is that, plus the peace of mind that it brings? So $147 for civilians and outsiders, $97 for my insiders in the Brotherhood, newsletter subscribers and Mastermind members. So, pretty simple. I'm not spending time on any fancy site. I'm not writing any long letter. Fuck that. Go to emailmillions.coach. Coach, C-O-A-C-H. Email millions, email, no dash, email millions dot coach, C-O-A-C-H. And you can quickly sign up there. There's a short video. You can sign up, and we're going to start in May. I'm going to have the first mastermind, and I'm going to write the first emails in May. Middle of May we'll start. And you'll have an email sent to you every week to use in your business. You can change it a little bit, plus press send. Plus the training once a month. The training once a month, which I'll record. If you can't be on the training, you can watch it at the end of the dock. Watch it out by the pool. Watch it at the ski lodge. I don't care. But I'm going to do this for you. I'm going to write the emails every week for you. So if you've been dragging your feet and you've been procrastinating, get off your fucking ass and do something to bring in cash flow into your business so that you can enjoy your life, you can take a vacation, you can buy something that you want to buy, you can have some peace of mind, and you don't live that stress and anxiety that I did for a couple of years trying to buy something that I could barely afford. Cash flow equals peace of mind, and debt makes a hard pillow. So email fixed both of those pains for me, both of those bleeding neck problems. I was stressed, I was anxious, I was like aging because I had debt and I had pressure. And email, the 8th wonder of the world, took that away. So that's email millions.coach. Sign up. And like I said, $97 for my tribe, for my Brotherhood, $147 for this week to civilians and outsiders. I can't make it any simpler than that. Maybe it's not for you, that's great, but regardless of whether you're interested in this program, I could care less whether you sign up or not. I'm still going to do it and have fun with it. But regardless, do your own emailing. Like, if you don't have the program, that's fine. Just make sure that you're creating a new list. Make sure that you have the right software and make sure that you're sending at least one email per week to your list. That's the big thing. Start 52 emails a year, and one per week that generates cash, it generates leads, it builds relationship, and this is an asset. This is something you sell at the end of your career. I sold my 63,000 email list. I didn't hand it to them. How do you think I sold that business for a record multiple? When they were talking about, okay, how many clients, I was selling my mailing list. I sold my email list. I sold my fax list to these guys. They'd never seen anything like it. They were just used to buying a business. I'm like, what about my marketing assets? They're like, what do you mean? I said, I have 63,000 active emails. What? They paid hundreds of thousands of dollars for that list in addition to the sale price. Same thing for a fax list. Same thing for my mailing list. I'm like, here's my newsletter list. It's tens of thousands of people. Oh, okay. So this is the ultimate asset, that when you eventually decide to walk away into the sunset on your own terms, you have an asset. You have thousands of people on your email list that you have a relationship with that generates you thousands of dollars a month when you press a button. Man, that's the greatest asset you could ever have. So this is a company within a company. This is a business within a business. And man, you're just going to be able to press a button and at the end of the day, not just get paid when you're sending emails over the next few years, but get paid when it's time to walk into the sunset. So that's it. Emailmillions.coach. Sign up. If you have any questions, email Leanne below, or email is there. If you don't have any problems, I didn't put up some fancy page or any of that shit. It sells itself. Emailmillions.coach. And any issues, any questions, Leanne at badassmillionaire.com. And we're going to start in May. That's it. 2 words that changed my life. Email changed my life. And 2 words as well. Be relentless.